Welcome back to the Hunt for Redboxtober, episode 17. Folks, we have quite a mix of genres today, and at least one game that I know is super rare. Also, the title that kicked off this entire project for me is in this list, so be sure to stick around to the end. It's one you're not going to want to miss. First up is Battlefield 3, and who else recognizes this as perhaps the most iconic Battlefield in the entire series? It's the first, in my opinion, to amp up the production value, and it hit us with some real wow moments, and the move to multiplayer was light years ahead. It forced rival Call of Duty to step up its game and polish its gameplay in multiplayer, and while I'm not sure that it dethroned Call of Duty in this time, it definitely made a positive impact on the FPS community. Even the single player was solid. Not saying it was the most amazing thing ever, but the fact that it kept one in place to play and treat it like its own product and not an add-on was great. Battlefield 3 does not follow the trend of some of the other seasonal games, in which I mean that yearly games barely put forth any effort to make a Redbox variant available. Now, EA actually spent the bucks to ensure that widespread coverage existed for this Battlefield 3 game as the greatest hits variant. It's very common. One of the most common, actually, and you can routinely find this in the $5 bargain bundle bin. Where other games grew in the fourth quarter of 2025, this one shrunk about 25%. There's way more supply out there than demand for this title, and I think it's destined to hover around this price for some time. And online, you can pick this up for $8 to $10 shipped to your door. Up next is Uncharted Drake's Fortune. And yeah, there are better ways to play this, like on the PS4, but I mean, come on, this is where it all started for the series. This is the game that my wife sat through, and she watched me play it, and by the end she was saying, that was like watching a movie. And I think she understood why I play games at that point in time. I was late to the party with the Uncharted series, but definitely hooked. And I've played them all. While I think the original is probably the weakest in the mainline series, not counting the handheld games as I've not played those, it is by no means bad. It's exceptional, making the entire series exceptional, and by the time you get to the second one, very heartwarming even. As you can imagine, Uncharted is ridiculously common, and it is $5 bargain bundle bin material all day long, though there is a slow trend upward right now. I'm not sure what that's about or how far it's going to go. However, there is a big reason to own this game over the Black Label when it comes to the PS3 versions, and one reason why it might be more valuable copy in the long run is because it comes with a later build of the game than the Black Label does. This only happened on 3 games that I know of, including God of War 3 and Little Big Planet, as well as Uncharted here. Everything else, I believe, is the same. Online, you can get this for $7 or $8 shipped to your door, but being as this is quite common, if you can snag it in person and bundle it with some others, I'd go that route myself. Before we get into the next game, I'd love to earn your subscription, get a like on the video even. It really helps in the algorithm, and I totally didn't believe that until I saw it for myself. The more earlier engagements, views, likes, that generally means the harder the video is going to be pushed by YouTube, and then more subs are generated, which is great for all of us to have this community to talk to. So, if you're not going to do it for me, do it for you. But back to the games, because the next one is often a crowd favorite. The Arkham series of games is one that I somehow connect closely with the Thanksgiving holiday in the United States. For some reason, I remember playing each of these, including Gotham Knights, which I know isn't tied into this, but it's definitely a spiritual successor in some vein. Arkham City is probably my favorite in the group, though. And I have a feeling it's most people's favorite, followed by Asylum and then Night. The world it created felt so corrupt and alive, and while Night has a larger map, City just felt larger due to the traversal mechanics and immersion. This is likely $5 bargain bundle bin material as well, though I have seen it for $8 at my local game store. It's very common, And one of the bummers about this is that it's the Game of the Year edition, but that doesn't mean that it contains the Harley Quinn's Revenge content on disc. You'll still need to download that. I guess you still can anyways. Who knows when those servers are going to be shut down. Online, this is $8 or $9 shipped to your door, which is roughly the same price as you might pick it up in person, so the choice is yours on how you might wish to obtain it in order to save the most money. There are few series of games that I really want to get into more than Mafia, and I have not played any of them. The fact that there are multiples of these just makes it almost intimidating. However, I have the trilogy on PS4, which is a PAL import that they never released in the US, and I think it's past due for me. Mafia 2 was the only one to release on the PS3, and I didn't realize how far apart each game was in the series actually. The original was in the 6th generation from 2002, this one here is 2010, and the third is in the 8th gen from 2016, all of which can be found on the PS4 trilogy, by the way. Mafia 2 is common. I didn't expect that personally, just because I'm not super familiar with the series. I expect it to be a little bit harder to find, but it's not. It's in my local game store right now for $12, and online it's closer to $15 shipped to your door, but it does go up sharply from there. The game is trending upward right now at about 33% over the last 6 months, but it might be leveling off though, so this could be the new normal. We have finally arrived at the game that started this collection for me, Midnight Club Los Angeles Complete Edition. I was in my local game store and I saw this and I asked the owner if he played it and what did he think about it. And he starts gushing about the game and Midnight Club series in general. And he points out the Complete Edition here and how the greatest hits are the best way to experience the PS3. This is after I had just talked with him about how in this generation we didn't have a ton of money, or I didn't have a ton of money, and I was relying on PS Plus for a lot of my gaming needs. And well, we were both about the same age, the owner and I, and both of us were busy with things like school or starting out in a career. And so for me, I missed out on certain titles like this. Now, he happened to play it, but I didn't. And I played about an hour of this game to agree with his statement. This is a ton of fun. I did not continue just because I was testing the functionality of the games that I buy used. And doing that for an hour on a game and then losing track of time usually meant that I enjoyed it. Midnight Club Los Angeles, though, is common. I see it pretty regularly. The copies are plentiful, the game is currently around $15, but more importantly, it's been in a growth pattern consistently since around mid-2023, with the largest growth occurring in the last 6 months. The game is poised to continue growing in my opinion, but I'd be cautious as it may crash too, if you're the investor type. I think it's gaining traction just because it's a Rockstar title and GTA 6 is coming out later this year, but that's just my guess. Online, this is close in price to around $18 shipped to your door, but make sure you grab the manual for that price. I see a lot of copies without manuals out there. Up next is Call of Duty World at War. I can only speak on the campaign for this. I only play the FPS genre for campaigns, and when I ranked this campaign against many others that I've played in the Call of Duty series, I put it pretty high in the list. For me, it's not quite Modern Warfare, the original one, but better than Cold War, which is another game that I played in recent years and I really liked it. So World at War is way up there. It was what I'm really trying to say, so get hyped for it. World at War is common as well. It's trending upwards for the second year in a row. However, it currently does sit around $10 at your local game store and conventions, and online closer to $16 shipped to your door. Now, given the larger spread here, I can almost confidently tell you that this is still growing, and this is most certainly the lowest that we're going to see this for quite a while or ever. I mean, that's my secret, folks. To determine the trend of things, I just look at the current price charting values, the lowest priced eBay listings for sale right now, and what has recently sold. So let's take this as a good example. This is $10 on price charting right now, which is a lagging price. It takes averages of sold items. And I'm just rounding numbers, okay? eBay has it for sale for $16. And sold listings are closer to $13. So actual sold is about 30% growth, and the ask is a 60% growth. Anything usually under 20% is closer to normal fluctuation, right? And anything 20 to 33% is usually normal growth patterns. And then anything 33, 66% or more is high to parabolic growth. Right now, we're in that normal to approaching high growth. If more copies go up for $16 and then get sold at that price, then we start to enter that parabolic growth. I'm not sure if it's an exact science or not, but it's those rough trends that I've found. They hold solid for me for the past few years, and it's part of what I've based this entire series on. So there, no more mystery. Maybe consider picking this one up, whether it's in person or online. But now you know why I care about the online price and what my local game store shows. We're starting to wind down now with Skyrim. And I am one of the 7 people in the world that has not played Skyrim. And the main reason? I've never once been drawn into an Elder Scrolls game. Not once. I have next to no interest in this fantasy world. All the memes, all the stories, the releases on every platform known to man have fallen on deaf ears with me. I totally get why people love it though. And I love an expansive world that you could really get into and enjoy, but for me, I like to know that there's an end in sight. You know, I like to hear a succinct story even more. Skyrim is common. It's one of the poster children for the $5 bargain bundle bin. Even online, it's not much more. You can snag it for $7 shipped to your door. This is just the regular greatest hits, mind you, and not the legendary edition. That's a different story. Though, I don't think it's much more either. We'll get to that eventually. There's just not a lot to say about this one that probably hasn't been said already over the last decade in its many incarnations. So, find it easily in person and bundle it with some other greatest hits or pick it up online. I don't think it really matters at all, but it's a great one that a lot of people will start their collections with. The final game is SmackDown vs. Raw 2010. And when I was younger, and I'm talking Sega Genesis, N64 kind of time frame, I really enjoyed wrestling games. I treated them just like fighting games, which I was in love with them. But I didn't watch wrestling on TV other than when it came on after the Saturday morning cartoons with those old classics like Hulk Hogan, The Undertaker, Macho Man. Those were the classics to me. And from the PS2 through the PS4, I never played a single wrestling game. And only recently did I play WWE 2K22, where I found I really enjoyed that experience, especially learning about Rey Mysterio. It was a really cool experience. But enough rambling about how wrestling and how I've interacted with wrestling games in the past. We're really here to understand how hard it is to obtain this game. And SmackDown vs. Raw 2010 is super rare. I could not find this local. I picked it up for $22 online, shipped to my door, and there is one for sale right now as of the filming of this, brand new and sealed for $125 on eBay. If you're into that kind of thing anyways. I think that's absolutely nuts, but this game is really hard to find. Only one seems to surface every few months. This is one that I definitely keep my eyes peeled for. It's not going to get any easier to find this. And did you know some countries ban video of the WWE? That's the reason why I don't have a trailer up for this. I learned my lesson in the past, and I would rather ensure that this entire greatest hits video is viewable for everyone than just show a small trailer that for a game that you can quite frankly probably figure out how it plays anyways. Listen, not every game is super rare and hard to find or going to be your retirement fund. I don't think any game really is for the most part. That's like expecting to go to the major leagues, so few people ever make it there. I'm not saying it's not worth trying, but just saying have a backup plan. But the majority of these are all priceless in a way, from the memories that we've created while playing them, the people we've talked to about them, and the time we spent with them. I prefer to think of it that way. And if you do too, then I can guarantee you that you won't be disappointed however this turns out. Even games that I don't like, such as Skyrim, have a story and a memory for me. Mine just happens to be of a time where everyone else is playing this and I had no interest in it. I'd love to hear your thoughts on any one of these games, so drop a comment on your favorite, and I can't wait to get back with you again on the next episode of Let's Build a Collection.